Okay, I think I should make this video. Now, if you don't believe in the supernatural or any of that stuff, this is gonna sound stupid or something probably. I'm trying to figure out where to even start with breaking down all of what just happened. I guess I'll start with after leaving my situation. Well, no, I won't even start there. I'll start off by saying you should already know that I'm not religious. I already know about not even just the whitewashing of the Bible, but even its pagan and occultic roots. So, I'm not in the pagan Roman Catholic Church, obviously. Quote unquote black people don't tend to be in that anyway. But, wait, oh man. I'm trying to talk to someone, but they didn't even hear me. Because I've been looking for someone I know, and they were in a screwed up situation. But they have not been answering the phone, and I've been kind of worried. But anyway, yeah. What was I talking about, though, before I paused this? Oh, yeah, so, obviously I'm not in the pagan Roman Catholic Church. I'm not a Christian. I already know that the Bible is true, but I already know that, like, religion is the New World Order. Religion is the broad path to hell that Yeshua talked about. All religion comes from Babylon. That's another story, but I just wanted to, like, make that clear, because it goes into this next point. So something that I've been doing, honestly, since before I even left my situation, is going to different religious places and just taking notes on their doctrine of demon foundations. Now, everyone should already know about the thing with the pagan Roman Catholic Church. That's obvious. But since Christianity is also a pagan hijacking flip of the Bible, there's also a lot of stuff with that. Especially more so in certain places. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so like back when I was still in GA for a little while, because I only lived there for like a year or something, I would take notes on the bullcrap that the Freemason pastors would teach, which I could go ahead and say that most pastors are Freemason Luciferians under the pagan Roman Catholic Church anyway. You should already know that most of them are Freemasons. They literally get their bishop certificates and all the other bull crap from the Freemason lodges and the Freemason colleges, or the Greek letter, but that's the same thing. So I would do that. But to get to the point, because I don't want this to be long, I really don't, I decided to go to this one church, even though I kept feeling like I shouldn't do it, because, I mean, one, I'm not religious and I already know how these organizations are, but I like to go to these places and take notes. In fact, something I forgot. You may remember the whole situation, which I have a video of and I'll put it in the description, of that whole situation where I was semi-kidnapped by that voodoo cult lady a couple years ago. Something that I've been saying ever since then, since like I started doing this whole thing where I go to these different religious organizations and take notes. And I take notes because I eventually plan to make a video, probably not on this channel, but a video about it. But I noticed that the presence in the voodoo cult lady's house was nothing compared to the presence that I feel just standing in front of or near a pagan Roman Catholic church. So anyway, now that I got that out the way, because I forgot to say that, but I wanted to say that. I went in this place, and I already knew it was probably going to be some sensationalist revival bullcrap. So, the first thing that I noticed, in fact, I was about to say something else. No, the first thing I noticed was this African looking dude that just gave a Get Out vibe. If you ever watched the movie Get Out, that's the first thing I noticed was this dude. He was the one standing at the door. And I was like, okay, because he just gave a Get Out vibe. Then the second thing I noticed was they spent about 3 freaking hours singing the same bullcrap song and didn't preach not jack. I was like, okay, yeah. And I kept having a feeling that I shouldn't go. Cause one, the racial stuff, like this specific area that this place was at, this area already gives me sundown town vibes anyway. And I know for a fact that if I stayed there after dark, honestly, if anybody stays there after dark, it's over. It doesn't matter what you look like. In anybody. So, what was I saying? What time is it? Okay, 6:41. Trying to pick back up where I was just at. Okay, second thing I noticed, kundalini spirit. This is something that I've done research on. I know Alexander Pagani talks about it. Pretty sure Deliverance Chronicles has talked about it. Even Isaiah Saldivar, which these people were on his map, which he says, I'm not responsible for any encounters you have on the map. But I felt like I shouldn't even trust going to any religious organization in Cali and with these racist people around here anyway. Okay, had to cross the street. To pick back up, the kundalini spirit. So the kundalini spirit is a spirit that occultic churches use to make people burst out in laughter. That's what that spirit is. It also can make people start slithering on the floor, similar to the Python spirit. And I think Leviathan can do that too sometimes, but that's not that common. Like I always say, due to what this channel is about, the Leviathan is one of the combo of spirits and quote-unquote narcissists, along with the Leviathan spirit and other marine spirits. So I noticed that, and I was like, there's the kundalini. Take note of this. And the thing is, though, it definitely is really risky to even do stuff like this, especially with the fact that, like, I mean, sure, I know stuff, but I don't feel like I'm as up there spiritually as I could be, especially should be, to even think of doing things like what I'm doing and going into these places just to take notes. In fact, I hope, just like with the voodoo cult lady situation, to actually get some videos of some stuff, and that's risky too. But, wait a minute. Okay, had to cross the street again. Where did I leave off? Oh yeah, so what I'm doing is risky for a couple of obvious reasons, but that, the spiritual side to it, the spiritual repercussions, is the worst one. I already know not to let people lay hands on me. I learned that years and years ago. In fact, ow, dang, I just stepped on a thorn. In fact, there's this pedo pastor who thinks I'm like 13 that's been trying to get with me for over a year now, and he called himself trying to lay hands on me a few times, and I'm like, no, definitely not. I don't let people lay hands on me. And I knew not to do this here because, of course, these people were claiming to do deliverance. They were just doing kundalini bullcrap. And the funny thing is, with this kundalini deliverance, quote-unquote, you're just getting more demons, actually. You get more of them. Another thing that I noticed, and this is common with these religious churchianity occultic people, So he was talking as if votes were real and the election is real, and as if America could still be revived, and like America's judgment isn't here, pretending that America can still repent. And anytime I see someone that claims to hear from, well, I mean, I guess they're hearing from Caesar Borgia because that's who they really worship anyway, but anybody who claims to hear from God but doesn't know basic, simple, obvious stuff like that, that's something I would always take note of too. Hey. Okay, had to do something else. Thinking about where I left off again. I guess I could name another thing I noticed. The divination spirit. Hey, that's something else that I noticed. So, this reminded me of this whole scenario that had went down back when I was on the Greyhound with this demon-possessed lady who started shaking and foaming at the mouth and vibrating and telling me my life story to a certain extent. I hope I didn't just break my book. I forgot that was in there. Okay, I gotta do this quick because I gotta do something. So, when the lady saw me, in fact, she was sitting there crying on the bus, and I was like, what's going on? I asked her if she was okay. So apparently she was crying because she was harassing the dude beside her and trying to tell him that he was her future husband or son or something. And then she told me I was her future kid, and that the dude that was on the Greyhound with us, it was this dude who claimed that he snuck here from Canada to meet his girlfriend, and he spent all the money he had to come here, and he was an illegal immigrant, a whole bunch of stuff. He claimed that an alien had stole his phone. And then this dude that was sitting on the bus beside me, he had made a joke about it. He was like, ET phone home. But yeah, so this happened with this lady on the bus, and she sat beside me. I told her I didn't want her to sit beside me, and then she just started shaking and foaming at the mouth, and spit was bubbling up. And then she was like, why are you here? And then she started saying, you did this to get revenge on your family. I didn't see it as a revenge thing, though. So the divination spirit had her saying some bullcrap there, or whatever spirit. But I would assume divination, maybe Python, too. But this was literally just me getting out of a cult, pretty much. And it was something that I had to do to move forward in my life, or to live at all. So, yeah. But she said that, though, and then she started telling me about how smart I am. That's something that I always get, especially in weird scenarios like this. So, yeah, that's what the situation I'm about to say reminds me of. So, back to the church. So, this lady had came up to me because I was looking around. I was seeing things I needed to take note on with the different weird things that were going on, from the kundalini laughing to the them saying things that I just knew weren't true. And look, I believe in Yahweh. Don't believe in whatever they believe in. Like I already said, I'm not religious anyway. But you would obviously know from watching my videos that I know about, like, the supernatural and the spiritual side to trauma. But don't get it twisted. I am not religious. I'm not in BHI either. People think that just because I know the racial truth to the Bible. But no, I'm not in BHI. Why in the world would I not be Christian to join BHI? Like, for all that, I might as well become a Mormon or be locked up with the Jehovah's Witness, being forced to wear some dress that goes down, that touches no. But sometimes people think that, and no, I'm not in BHI. Not that, like, anybody made comments on my videos about that, but people have just made comments in other places, and no. But where was I? Oh my gosh. I gotta hurry up too. what was I saying? Dang. Okay, something I'm now remembering. I noticed that the people were just all really weird. In fact, I forgot, I should have said this a long time ago. This one lady, she was just giving unhinged. And look, I know that with the videos that I make about how I feel about mental illness and the labels, people are probably going to be like, but I thought you said terms like that were rude. In the situations that I talk about on this channel with the Cash for Kids system, yes, it is very not okay that people are being labeled, especially falsely labeled, just so that the Cash for Kids system can say, well, you deserve for this, that, and that to happen to you because you're bad, crazy, and slow. Yes, that's not okay. But yes, this lady was acting unhinged. So, yeah. Like, I had to edit some stuff out because I didn't like how it came out. But while they were singing the same song for 3 hours, the lady was dancing in a very quote unquote dancing. I guess that's what she was trying to do. But it was in a very unhinged way. And just doing a whole bunch of unhinged, weird, crazy stuff. Yes, I don't like to use that term. But here I have to. Or I could say demonic stuff. I could say that. So, wait, what was I about to say? Oh, yeah. So she was doing a whole bunch of weird stuff in the back of the room. And I just felt really uncomfortable. It was just a lot of get out vibe stuff with everybody, really. Oh, yeah, another thing. I do believe in people being prophetic and all that. But I could tell that the things that these people were claiming they had happened weren't. I won't even say it wasn't true. I could say it wasn't from Yahweh. I could say that. I could go ahead and say that. What else could I say? Oh, dang, I never finished the last thing. I always do this. Can't ever finish a sentence. Especially right now because I'm just kind of like really hyped up, I guess, about the whole situation. So, this is what reminded me of the Greyhound situation. The lady had came up to me and she was using the spirit of divination. And if you don't know, that's the spirit that the slave girl was using when she was able to tell that, I think it was Paul? No, it wasn't. No, it was not. This was before Paul. That's how she was able to tell that the disciples were the disciples. And she was like, these are great men of God. Don't remember what book this was. It was the New Testament. Definitely was before Paul, though, because Jesus died before Paul. The Paul part, anyway. So, she was like, I came from a messed up family, and I could tell that, and I know that you're running, and God said, beware of people that love to use this ineffable name doctrine bullcrap, and they just say God. God is anybody. God could be their boyfriend for all you know. So, she was like, God told me that you ran from your family. This is the same thing that the lady on the Greyhound did, by the way. And you just have to forgive them and stop running. Me personally, I don't really feel like I don't forgive anybody, but I'm not really sure about that. And of course, forgiveness is key. You do have to do that for you, not for them, and also so you don't have a soul tie. But I don't necessarily feel like I don't forgive. But still, the point is, she was getting all this info from the spirit of divination and Python and whatever else. And she was like, forgive them, and God has a family for you. And, I guess, I mean, it could be true. It could be true. She's still getting it from a demon, though, that's using them. And they're all in the occult. But demons can, like, see true things to a certain extent. Hopefully that came out right. But Something else that I noticed, that I was hearing a lot of weird screaming noises, and I didn't know. I couldn't tell who it was coming from. They couldn't sing either. They need to know the difference between yelling and singing. Yelling is not doing a high note. Let me go ahead and put that out there. Where is it? Something that I should say is that back when I was still living on the East Coast, I have seen deliverance before. I've seen demons be cast out of people before. This wasn't in a church setting, at least the last recent one I seen. But I could tell. I don't even know why I even did this. I really don't even know I took the risk of doing the things with the Catholic Church that I did, where I would go in there and take notes, to be honest, because I have good discernment. So it's pretty stupid of me to even do this. But anyway, my point is, I can tell when something is demonic and when it's not. I can also tell different spirits and people, which is why I'm able to know who's perverse and who's not. In fact, I knew that preacher, the priest I mentioned earlier, I knew that he wanted to get with me the first time I saw him, just from looking in his eyes before he started asking to get with me. And by the way, this was a priest. I don't even know what church he quote unquote preaches at. He's just a dude that's been around, quote unquote, trying to get the homeless to accept help. In fact, I could make a whole video about that situation. You know, he tried to guilt trip me. But anywho, yeah, so I could just tell that this whole situation with this church was very demonic. That's why I go to these places and take notes and stuff anyway, in hopes that I eventually have enough stuff to put together to make a video. I even still have pamphlets that I kept from this one pagan Roman Catholic church in Alabama. But yeah, so that happened earlier, and I talked to someone about it too, and they were like, never trust any of the churches in this area. In fact, he also said, I don't trust Southern Baptists or Baptists and Methodists at all. He was like, all the churches in this county are ran by witches. And of course, I didn't trust him anyway. I mean, I don't go to church, and obviously, I did used to like to go when I was younger. Like, I would want to go. I would walk there. As you know, my parents didn't believe in Yahweh or any of that. But one of my first issues with the church, it wasn't the racial flop thing. Luckily, I was never indoctrinated into that whitewashing stuff. But I didn't like the fact that religious people didn't actually believe the Bible, that they didn't believe in the supernatural, and that they wouldn't cast out demons. And so, yeah, I guess there's this. Because I got to do something. I want to say this one last thing. I completely forgot this. Something I noticed a while ago is that all of the pagan Roman Catholic people around here could probably fall. Well, wait a minute. They could probably get the schizophrenia label. They all are really strange and walk around talking to themselves. Like, there's this one lady. She even tried to argue with me about the Catholic Church, and then she started getting racist too. And mind you, this is one of those people that would probably be called black by pretty much everybody, but in their mind they're Asian or something. But I'm not even gonna go into that. But yeah, she would like walk around talking, and then I would think she was talking to me, and then I would be like, huh? And then she wouldn't say anything. And then she tried to tell this whole story about she had this boyfriend that was schizophrenic, and how he would talk to himself in the mirror. And I was just thinking, how in the world do you have the nerve? He even tried to talk about him. But yeah, then there was this other situation where this Catholic dude, he had got out of his car and ran up on me asking me about whether something weird about some witchcraft stuff, and how do I believe that I could heal my joints in my sleep. I don't even know what he was talking about. But all this stuff just makes me think of something that I said for years. I always said that I would never come to Cali. That was because all the stuff that I knew about SRA sex trafficking. But like over the years, I learned more reasons not to, and I ended up here anyway. And yeah, also makes me think of something that someone told me a few days ago, and they were like, "I've been here visiting for a little while." And something that people always tell me is that this town is a cool place, but they say a lot of weird stuff happens here. It gives Bohemian Grove, if I can even say that without this video being flagged. Like, you've ever seen the video of someone going to Bohemian Grove and asking around about the place? Everybody says that they don't want to say anything and that they're scared to talk and all that. There's also this saying around here where people say that this place is cursed and that if you come here, you get stuck here or you always end up back here. And yeah, this is probably going to be a weird video, but I just thought that I should say this. Try number 5. Here's a couple things that I forgot to mention that I can't remember right now. So, 1. I was kind of confused about the whole pastor situation, but from the looks of it, it seemed like this was one of the planted churches by this one dude who happened to be there this day, or maybe he's there every Sunday, I don't know, but apparently he lives in Texas, and his main church that he's planted is in Texas. Okay, I kind of had to burp. If you know how these beast religious organizations go, which is really common with the Catholic Church especially, you know that they're under the World Council of Churches and under the Church of England. All the religious organizations are, all of them are. And so, more commonly seen in pagan Roman Catholicism is that this person has to get up in the levels of Freemasonry or go to college or whatever school to get their bishop bullcrap title or whatever title put on paper. And then the religious organization leaders, the World Council of Churches people, will plant them at a church, and they'll plant churches. Like, they're an organization. And you can really point this out with the pagan Roman Catholic Church, especially. Because, I mean, they're more likely to be under the World Council of Churches. That's kind of a side thing. But, like, you may notice every state has a Holy Cross organization because it's an organization. Hopefully that was a good explanation, because I kind of feel like that didn't come out how I wanted it to. But, yeah, so the pastor said that he was talking about his church in Texas and how he was planning on planting another church or something. I can't even really remember. Of course, he was saying the revival bull crap, which goes back to something that I already mentioned. I feel like everybody should feel like anybody that claims to hear from quote unquote God, whatever that means, and is acting like America's about to be revived and like Babylon isn't falling right now, and I mean with all stuff that's about to go down in November forward. But yeah, anybody that's acting like that, I don't know who they're hearing from. Also, the fact that he's acting like votes are real and like any of that stuff is real and like puppet politicians aren't picked, that's a red flag for me too. I mean, other than the fact that I already knew that this place was going to be some demonic weird stuff. I mean, just because I know how this place is, just how this area is. I mean, like I said, that's the reason why I go to some of these places. I mean, I think I said that I started back in Alabama going to these different places and like taking notes, but honestly I started doing that in Georgia somewhat. I just didn't do it as much then because I I didn't really get to leave the house anyway. And I mean, from the public transportation there was weird, but yeah. I definitely wouldn't advise anyone to do it though. It's too risky. The spiritual slash mental risk are too high. You're never supposed to just walk in anywhere, really. Not even in somebody's house. You're not supposed to let everybody touch you, and you're not supposed to eat everybody's food. All that. So I wouldn't advise it. What was like? Oh yeah, what I was supposed to be getting at though. So I noticed with this pastor dude that he had this look in his eyes, and I already knew it was a demon manifesting. And what it made me think of is this one dude who uses the kundalini demons and other demons alike. Some people don't even believe he's human. And I mean, I don't know. Probably not. But Kenneth Copeland. That's what it made me think of. Although at least he wasn't trying to manipulate people around money. But still, though, I could see that it was the same spirit. Honestly, I think a lot of these Cali quote unquote preachers had the Kundalini and these other demons. But then again, is Kenneth Copeland even from Cali? I don't even know. I don't even know if he's still alive. But who was that other dude? Joel. Oh yeah, Joel Osteen. I don't think I've ever seen him use the Kundalini though. I just know that he doesn't believe the Bible. He considers himself a motivational speaker. But I mean, you can't trust any mega church people anyway. And what else do I have to say? But yeah, I hope that next time I do something like this, if I even do, because I know it's really risky, but I want to do like some type of documentary type thing, and I actually want to sneak show footage. One of the things that first made me think to start doing stuff like this is back when I was still doing the abuse evidence videos, and around the time where CPS has snitched about the 2,000 plus abuse evidence videos, and like my older sister and other relatives deleted a lot. My mom's boyfriend was like, "You should be an investigative journalist." That was one good things that they did say to me. Well, I guess I can't really say they, but he. And, I mean, it stuck with me. I don't really know if this is considered investigative journalism, though. But I guess I could call it investigative risky recordism. Okay, forgot about this too. This is something that I already knew, but it's really prevalent in Cali, especially just because, I mean, with one, that specific group of Europeans that live here, and other things that have been pushed here since before the 60s, people here are very indoctrinated into a lot of communist things that revolve around the universal one world religion and the beast system. Like, there's just so much I could say about that, to be truthfully honest. And what this experience and me just knowing what I just stated really makes me think of is the fact that the church is responsible for the New Age. And this is something that Pastor Stephen Darby has even said before, and it's true, because since the church wasn't doing what they were supposed to do and casting out demons or any of that, and people weren't like learning about the supernatural, people will start going in the New Age. A lot I could say about that, but it just makes me think more about why the people here are the way that they are. Which, I mean, I already pieced this stuff together before I actually decided to really start seeing what actually goes on in the occultic witchcraft churches around here. I already knew, obviously, that the people having the brainwash beliefs that they do all revolve around the pagan Roman Catholic Church. And it kind of goes back to something I talk about a lot. Not really on here, but the whole quote-unquote atheism thing, and people claim that they're atheists, but honestly, something that I've been noticed years ago is that the average person that claims they're atheist is very religious, and they have the same bullcrap beliefs and hatred for the Bible and the true quote-unquote God, Yahweh, because I don't even like the ineffable name doctrine term. But they're not any different from the people in churchianity. And that's something that I noticed a lot around here with people that claim to be atheists, which are really double-minded, because one minute they say that they're an atheist, but then the next minute they say they're quote-unquote spiritual. But yeah, they're just religious and don't actually see how religious they are. Like, I guess people don't really seem to know that New Age is Catholic, but I don't know. It's just so much brainwashing with all this religious stuff. But hopefully I'll get a video out there, which is definitely going to be really risky. But hopefully I'll get a video out there soon of one of these situations. And like I said, casting out demons and all that stuff is definitely real. But this was a kundalini spirit situation, which is what I was expecting to see anyway. That's what I was expecting, especially around here. And that's another thing too. If you don't have any discernment and you actually go to these places expecting some type of quote unquote help and expecting to get hands laid on you, and you let these people lay hands on you, you're not going to get delivered. You're going to get more demons. And that's another thing too with this kundalini stuff. They're never really casting out anything. In fact, they're commonly not even calling the names of demons out to actually even pull out a demon. Like, there's things you actually have to do. They're just standing there saying bull crap, and then the person's making whatever noises they're doing, whatever. But that's just manifestation. Probably even from the demons that they're imparting on the person through the kundalini witchcraft bull crap. So, what else do I have to say? But yeah. So, I guess that's it. This time. I think that's actually it.